A reminder, the news doesn't stop here. Here's what's coming up on WCNC Plus at 7 a.m.
It started as a pool party and it ended with shots. Then 4 people injured, 1 killed. The details coming up.
A former high school football coach out on bond this morning. How prosecutors say he tricked students into sending private photos.
Today, CMS leaders plan to outline a proposal for next year's budget. Coming up, what their priorities are and what challenges they're still facing.
A new tax deduction could save you thousands, but only if you know how to claim it.
The simplest way to find out if you qualify. Those stories and much more live, local, and breaking news coming up at 7 a.m. on WCNC Plus.
All right, take a look at your TV screen, because if you take I-85 inbound, if you're coming in, you're going to have a slowdown. We have a slowdown out there that's out by University City. Here it is on my map. You can see the colors really starting to worsen. Lots of red, meaning stop and go traffic. This is I-85 southbound, specifically between about Graham Street, exit 40, but it's beyond Sugar Creek Road, so allow for plenty of extra drive time. If this is your morning commute, we'll be following everything else for you, plus this accident over on WCNC Plus. Chris?
Thanks a lot, Majestic. So all in all, it is now the beginning of another warm-up. 59 today, and then we jump to the upper 60s on Wednesday. 88, that's a record day on Friday. Only chance for rain is really Friday and Friday night. After that, we cool down, and then we start another warm-up back to the 70s and the 80s. So those 80s really starting to take over that extended forecast, and I'm not mad about it.
It almost makes all that yellow pollen worth it.
Almost.
Right?
We were there.
And what, we're 2 weeks into it. Ask us again in 2 months.
Yeah.
Of course, we're always streaming on WCNC Plus. Join us coming up in a couple of minutes. We leave you with this gorgeous shot out the Outer Banks. Streaming live right now at 7 a.m. right here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Megan Bragg in for Lisa Washington. A chilly start to your morning. Grab that jacket. Meteorologist Chris Mulcahy is giving us a look at what to expect today.
Cooler is the word of the day. The 40s and the 50s are our main jam. We are at 40 degrees officially for the Hickory area, 45 for us in Charlotte. Don't have a lot of temperatures reporting. I've reset the data, so not sure what's happening right here. But at least we got these four, the faithful four that are here for us. And then over the next 6 hours, you can see temperatures not really moving too much, but we will get back to the lower 50s by the lunchtime hour. As you can see, we have a gorgeous little peach color here in the background. You will anticipate a clearing of the clouds a little bit later on today, really about the middle of the afternoon especially. So I have a high of 59 degrees today, 49 for you in Jefferson. Not really a big difference across the area, really a general range of about 57 to 59. Could be a couple of intermittent 60-degree points, but that's just for a brief few minutes. And the big story is also the fire danger. We have an extreme fire danger right now. It's very high on the bookends, as you can see here, for Wadesboro and Chiraw, and then up into the Boone area, Morganton. And near Morganton, actually, there's been a half-acre wildfire that has been being contained, but there's a much larger one in Wilkes County that is now 90% containment. So there's nothing that's a big story here, but it could be. That's why we are showing you this. This is from NC State's climate office saying, hey, be extra cautious today, because see these relative humidity values, there's barely any moisture in the air. So that is prime time. Oftentimes when it's more humid, it's tougher for these fires to start. That's why it's usually about this time of year, especially in March and April here in the Carolinas, that this is our wildfire season because of values like these. And they don't really improve too much. Anything below 35% is way too dry. So even if we had a wet weather system rolling in, it wouldn't reach the ground. It would just dissipate or evaporate into what's called virga. Our day and nighttime rain chances, the reason why I'm showing you this graphic compared to the usual is because our best chance for rain is during the nighttime. Outside of that, even the 10-day forecast is looking pretty measly, and I am also seeing a big decrease in the amount of rain that we could see with this next weather system as it draws a little bit closer. I always say this, drought feeds drought. So when you have a dry air mass, it's tougher and tougher. It almost leads you as a dry bubble. So that's going to limit storm possibilities. That limits the amount of rain, and that's exactly what we're dealing with. And we're kind of getting to desperation mode. We have been anywhere between of an extreme drought status or severe for now about a month. And we keep on kind of keeping it level. We have some rain. It doesn't really make it worse. Well, the way this current forecast is, it's going to get worse, because look at all this rain. This would be great for us. Even a little bit of snow up in Michigan from this, and trying to pop up a little mixing here in the Appalachians up in West Virginia. But check out this rain. This is 9 p.m. A lot of it fades out as it moves through the area. So it's not really definitive what we're going to see here. Before it was looking like more of a thunderstorm chance, but since it's taking its sweet time, less so going forward. Friday's forecast, though, looks to be maybe a record smasher. The record for that day is 85. Each daily record has different temperatures. Some are a little bit tougher to crack because there's been a few days in March that we've hit 90 degrees. Well, I think that one's going to be a surefire bet. So it means it's going to be a warm one for opening night. That's right. There's a slight chance for rain. Right now leaning towards rain instead of thunderstorms. Lower to the mid 60s for the weekend. The cold this morning, by the way, not tomorrow, 40. It's actually 38 on Sunday. And then we have a nice little warm up back to the mid 70s on Monday and a decent amount of 80s heading through next week. Okay, and that wraps up weather. Our very first look at our morning commute here on WCNC Plus.
Let's get to it. Good Tuesday morning, everyone. This is I-85. Wanted to show you this because this is kind of a congested area that I've been watching for you. It is out near Sugar Creek, so mile marker 41 here. It's not stop and go, but it is moving a little slow. There's that crash that we've been following for you over the last 20-25 minutes. This is I-85 southbound right at Graham Street. We're seeing some of the biggest delays between exit 40 and exit 41, so Sugar Creek Road, kind of just what I showed you. So a little slower than it typically already is this time of the day. Again, that's I-85 inbound out near Sugar Creek. Another thing that I want to mention is this here. This is on the east side of Uptown. It's I-45. It's the outer loop at Albemarle Road. We're seeing some impacts out there towards Blair Road, so from exit 41 to 43, it's a bit slow moving. And finally, the third thing to mention here, this is Albemarle Road at Farm Pond Lane. Saw a picture. There's an accident right there in the intersection. They're just trying to clear it, so just make sure you're driving with caution if you typically drive this way. Ben.
Majestic, thanks. We start with breaking news right now in Chesterfield County, where an urgent search is underway for an armed kidnapping suspect. Take a look at your screen. Deputies say the guy you see right here, Kendrick Terry, kidnapped a 23-year-old woman from a home in Cleveland Street in Charlotte. Terry was last seen in a black shirt, blue shorts, and a blue do-rag. Terry believed to be driving this white GMC Terrain you see here. As for that woman, it's 23-year-old Myasia McIver, has black and blonde dreadlocks, last seen in a white shirt and blue leggings. Terry's believed to be armed and dangerous. If you see him, do not approach him. Police say call 911 immediately.
We're following breaking news in Pineville this morning. Crews were on the scene of a fire at Willow Run Road. Medic says one person was treated for minor injuries, but no word yet on how that fire started.
This morning, we are learning more about a shooting at a pool party in North Charlotte that left one person dead, 4 others injured.
It happened on Hucks Road near Old Statesville Road. WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane is live in that neighborhood this morning, where residents are clearly shaken. Richard.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct, Megan. Not only residents, but a nearby church also had congregation members upset, actually having to flee the church because of the shots fired. Now, this happened, as we said, right up the road from where I'm standing. Hucks Road has this North Charlotte community on edge after that pool party turned deadly. Now, it all began as a typical pool party. What you're looking at is some video from that event, but it quickly spiraled into chaos, with neighbors reporting music followed by multiple gunshots as the evening went on. Police say hundreds of teens gathered Sunday night on Hucks Road near Old Statesville Road when the shooting started. 20-year-old Richard Thomas was killed, 4 others injured. Now, the homeowner rented out the pool says that she had rented it out once on this event platform, but then booked it. This event was actually not booked through that platform. This was a makeup date from a previous event that was canceled. Unfortunately, the aftermath has left this neighborhood shaken, with families concerned about safety and supervision, and even those who attend that nearby church.
And we heard multiple shots that we began to dismiss the service. And then when we went outside, our security went outside, we saw multiple police, CMPD, traveling in sync order, like 20, 30 cars. And it was really alarming and concerning. But there needs to be some type of social engagement to get it. It's being plagued throughout the world with these young teenagers between the age of 16 to 21.
And one resident we also spoke with says that it just happened too close to her family. A lot of people concerned about this event. At this time, police say they still have not made any arrests. They're asking the public for any information about this event. As many as 500 teens were at that pool party. So far, they haven't gotten the information they need that will lead to an arrest. They'll keep asking questions, and so will we, urging the public to provide information. We're right here in North Charlotte. This is Richard Devane. We'll send it back to you.
Richard, thanks. 7:08 right now on WCNC Plus. Right now, we're working to learn more about a deadly crash in Matthews. It happened last night on Independence Boulevard outbound, right off I-45. This is a look at that scene. Medic confirming one person was killed. Another was hospitalized with life-threatening injuries. No word on what caused that crash. An investigation continues this morning after a deadly shooting in Burke County, now ruled as self-defense. It happened March 1st at a home on Brown Mountain Beach Road in Morganton. The district attorney's office say 52-year-old Michael Cinco was shot and killed. They tell us the investigation remains ongoing. A former high school football coach out on bond this morning after he was accused of inappropriate conduct with students. Prosecutors say 22-year-old Jonathan Henderson created a fake online profile and got his players to send him naked photos of themselves. School officials at Christ the King Catholic High School in Huntersville say it came after Henderson was removed from his position for holding unauthorized football training sessions and communicating with players through unauthorized channels. While out on bond, he can't work anywhere he would supervise minors. His next hearing is April 8th.
An officer and suspect are recovering after a police chase ended in a serious crash. It started in Buncombe County when police were following up on an investigation with Mitchell Gunter. Gunter then took off, striking a detective with his vehicle. He was involved in a collision at the intersection just moments later. Investigators say after that crash, he stole a truck and began another police chase. The chase ended with another crash in Avery County. He's now facing multiple charges.
Some overdue upgrades coming to Bojangles Coliseum and Ovens Auditorium. Charlotte City Council approving $25 million in improvements. A majority of it will go towards replacing the HVAC systems. City staff say some of the units are from the 1950s. The rest will go towards things like plumbing, electric, parking. Officials say it's good for those venues, but also the surrounding neighborhoods as well.
That's going to be $25 million coming back to East Charlotte, coming back to a venue that is uniquely placed in Black and brown neighborhoods that will really rejuvenate that area.
City staff said they're moving quickly to get the equipment installed by next summer to avoid canceling or rescheduling any events.
Crash chaos at LaGuardia, what investigators just revealed about the deadly collision. Stay tuned for the latest updates on the runway closures and injuries. Time now 7:13 with the Homeland Security shutdown now more than a month old and unpaid TSA agents quitting and calling out. Airport security lines are reaching maddening new lengths. NBC's Alice Barr has more as there are new signs of hope that Congress and the White House may finally reach a deal.
Overnight, a potential breakthrough to break up those massively long airport security lines after a small group of Senate Republicans met with President Trump on a plan to fund the Department of Homeland Security. Alabama Senator Katie Britt saying a solution may be at hand.
I am going to be working through the night, would be my guess. So hopefully we can figure out how to move forward.
For more than a month, Democrats have refused to put more money into ICE and Border Patrol without major changes to immigration enforcement operations following the fatal shootings of 2 American citizens. They're pushing to separate that money from the rest of DHS to fund agencies like FEMA and TSA now.
All Donald Trump has to say is yes.
President Trump has been pressuring Republicans to tie DHS funding to stiffer voter ID laws under the Save America Act.
Don't make any deal on anything unless you include voter ID.
That's a non-starter for Democrats, and now overnight, the Senate's top Democrats saying
Both sides are talking.
the pressure is mounting, with security lines growing by the day as TSA agents working without pay yet again quit and call out in record numbers.
You couldn't find the end of the line because there was just people everywhere.
And now at more than a dozen of the nation's busiest airports, ICE agents coming in for backup security, checking IDs and handling crowd control, according to a senior ICE official. But without training on airport X-ray machines, it's unclear how much they can do to clear the lines and the growing frustration. Two sources familiar with the talks say if ICE is split off from the rest of DHS funding, Republicans would then fund the agency through a separate reconciliation bill that doesn't require votes from Democrats. All as the new Secretary of Homeland Security, GOP Senator Markwayne Mullin, is set to be sworn in today. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
New York's LaGuardia Airport back open this morning after an Air Canada plane collided with a fire truck on the runway. That runway remains closed right now. The pilot and co-pilot were killed, dozens more hurt. Video shows the moment that Air Canada Express regional jet rolled down the runway and then about 2/3 of the way down collided with that Port Authority rescue vehicle you see right there. The impact so forceful, it tore the nose off the front of that aircraft. We now know Antoine Forrest from Quebec, one of the pilots who died. The other pilot has not been publicly identified, but the FAA says both were two young men starting out their careers. Now take a look at this. Air traffic control audio revealing the truck had just requested permission to cross runway 4 right there in this rendering. You see it? It was responding to another plane that had declared an emergency because of an odor on board. A controller initially cleared the truck and then, as you're about to hear, tried to stop it as that plane approached.
Frontier 4195 to stop there, please. Stop, truck 1, stop. Stop, truck 1, stop. Stop, truck 1, stop.
Two sources tell NBC News the controller was doing two positions at the same time, managing aircraft in a rainy sky, as well as planes and vehicles there on the ground. That controller later saying this.
We were dealing with an emergency earlier.
No, man, you did the best you could.
Heartbreaking. Some veteran air traffic controllers say while doing two jobs, especially on a Sunday night, is not necessarily abnormal, it is still a tragedy, still juggling a lot. The FAA and NTSB are now both investigating. An explosion at a southeast Texas refinery is prompting safety concerns this morning.
Officials say an explosion and a large plume of smoke led authorities to order nearby residents to shelter in place. On Monday, fire officials confirmed an incident at the facility with early indications pointing to a possible heater unit involved. No injuries or evacuation have been reported, and air quality is now being closely monitored. Witnesses across the region reported hearing a loud boom that shook homes and rattled windows.
Emergency teams responding Monday to a partial collapse at a parking garage in Denver. Take a look. The structure next to an office building showed significant damage, including large cracks on the top level. Two vehicles crushed. Thankfully, no injuries reported. Crews are now using drones and specialized cameras to check the area and assess the building's stability.
And we're taking a live look right now over Uptown. When we come back, Chris has your latest weather impact.
good day, everybody. Okay, so let's raise our pollen IQ. So the most historic spike that we ever had was back in 2024. If your allergy mind can go back that far, that one outweighed the rest by about 2,000. Well, I just want to show you the spike that we recently had. Well, plain and simple, whenever you're measuring this, maybe a local allergy office or this one specifically from the Department of Natural Resources here in North Carolina, the previous peak was 747 grains per cubic meter as they measured it. Well, yesterday, we nearly doubled that number, 1,492. So talk about a surge. So nowhere near the historic peak, but we're also not near the peak. It was last year that we officially had a peak around April 7th. Well, it has begun. So I think that we're going to have a pretty solid season. And actually, it was last Tuesday. I physically took a video just saying, hey, I'm seeing a little bit of yellow stuff. The pollen's coming. Now it is covering everything. My wife has a black car and it's pretty much yellow at this point. So just really keep this in mind that we are really heading towards the peak overall. So I want to show you exactly what this chart looked like last year. So it was the peak officially on April 7th. So last year at this point, really putting this in perspective, around March, what's the date today? I already forgot, the 24th? Around March 24th, you can physically see here, we only had about the hundreds, that little dip that you can see further off towards the left of your screen, and then we had a nice little rise. We are already much, much higher than where we were last year. Now, it's not following the historic spike that we had back in 2024, but notice what happens really after this date. So this is this date. And that means a couple of days from now, that's where we really start to get that really solid push. So that means whatever values that we have right now potentially could double to their peak that's right around April 7th. The latest I've seen a peak personally when I've looked at this data over the last 20 years is around April 10th to the 14th, but most likely it's going to spike anywhere from the 1st to the 7th. So I'm just letting everyone know. And the problem with the allergy season is there's multiple. Now, the tree pollen luckily spikes in early April, as we mentioned, but you're still dealing with that yellow through much of April before you get to May, that it starts to wind down. But then there's also grass pollen. That starts to spike really May heading into June. And then, of course, we have the ragweed that comes late August heading in September, and then mold spores most of the year. Oh, joy. But at least we're almost to the peak, but just letting you know, expect a lot more of that yellow pollen to cover everything, especially over the next 2 to 3 weeks. All right, Majestic, what's going on?
Good morning, everyone. It is getting really busy out there as we're nearing the 7:30 time frame now. I want to take you to I-77 right near the state line. So coming in from York County into Mecklenburg County, I-77 inbound lanes. This is mile marker 90 out near Carowinds, where it's moving very, very slowly because of an accident that was just reported not too long ago. Want to zoom it on in, taking you through a couple of things. There's that slowdown down to the south on I-77 inbound specifically. There's a crash there, so it's as you're approaching the North Carolina, South Carolina state line right there, and it's backed up to about exit 85. So I showed you exit 90, delays backed up through exit 85. Make sure you have plenty of drive time to get to where you need to be. And then this is a secondary one that I would say is the second most important thing. I-85 southbound at Graham Street, that's exit 40. So taking I-85, maybe you take that to get onto I-77. It's slow moving, but it is improving much better than it was about 10 minutes ago. We'll give you another updated look on traffic coming up here in just a few minutes.
7:24 right now. Today in women's history, we celebrate the 49th birthday of actress Jessica Chastain. She's known for powerful roles in films like Zero Dark 30, The Help, Interstellar, where she often plays complex, resilient women. Also portrayed Tammy Faye Baker. Beyond the screen, Chastain has been a vocal advocate for gender equality in Hollywood, fighting for equal pay and opportunities for female actors. Her work both in and out of film has helped challenge industry norms and inspire women to pursue leadership and creative roles. All right, approaching 7:25 right now on your Tuesday morning. Keep it right here on WCNC Plus.
It may be cooler, but check out this beautiful shot through a Monroe camera. Mr. Sparky Carolina Camera Network doing us justice. Lots of sunshine coming up on the horizon, but it is chilly. Only 45 degrees right here around Charlotte, 44 for you in Monroe, 40 degrees here in Hickory. We'll be colder by tomorrow, but highs today, we have the upper 50s to right around 60 degrees. Those winds, I think especially, are windy to start off the day, and they get a little bit more calm heading towards the evening hours. But then check out where we're going. After this, we do have a very cold start, 40 degrees tomorrow. Then we have 67, 80 degrees for my pick of the week, and then 88. That's right. That could be the hottest temperature we had so far. Definitely a record breaker before we cool down lower to the mid-60s this weekend with another comeback temperature-wise through next week. All right, Majestic, what do people need to know this morning?
Just before 7:30 this morning, and we're following a wreck on I-77 northbound. Let me show you where it is right here on my map. It's going to be really if you're coming in from York County heading into Mecklenburg County, right there on the state line. And we're seeing the impacts between really exit 90 to exit 85. Here's a live camera look. This one's coming in from exit 90. That is out there near Carrollton, so very slow moving conditions. We'll see you over on WCNC Plus.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us live right here on WCNC Plus at 7:30. I'm Megan Bragg and for Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson. We continue to follow breaking news this morning in Chesterfield County, where an urgent search is now underway for an armed kidnapping suspect. Take a look at your screen. Deputies say the guy you see right here, Kendrick Terry, kidnapped a 23-year-old woman from a home on Cleveland Street in Cheraw. Terry last seen in a black shirt, blue shorts, and a blue do-rag. Terry's believed to be driving this white GMC Terrain you see here. The woman, 23-year-old Myasia McIver, has black and blonde dreadlocks. Last seen wearing a white shirt and blue leggings. Terry believed to be armed and dangerous. Police say if you see him, do not approach him. Call 911 immediately.
New this morning, a man is behind bars for a deadly hit and run right here in Charlotte. Police say Thomas Haynes was arrested Monday morning in connection to that deadly hit and run earlier this month on the plaza that killed 23-year-old Sophie Kippel. Haynes now faces multiple charges, including second-degree murder and felony hit and run. Haynes is expected in court today at 10 a.m. In just hours, CMS is set to outline its proposed budget for next school year.
WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards now live at CMS headquarters this morning. So, Destiny, lay it out for us. What are some of the things we're expecting to see inside this budget?
Yeah, we don't have specific numbers this morning, but we will later today when CMS leaders break it all down. We do know, however, that they plan to make several investments in things like teacher pay, student technology, And we can also expect to learn how they'll plan to handle rising costs, certain rising costs in utilities and facilities as well. So for next school year, this is what this budget will be about. We can learn today that district leaders will be walking through the proposed budget for the 2026-27 school year. Chief Financial Officer Kelly Klutz is expected to explain how the district is allocating resources to support student success and meet the district's changing needs. They're also looking at shifting staffing, mostly through people retiring or leaving to match changing enrollment numbers, while also preparing for, again, rising costs like utilities and facility needs. But on top of all that, there's still uncertainty from Raleigh as lawmakers have yet to pass a state budget.
When that doesn't happen, we are required legislatively to pass a budget at a certain time. The county's required to legislatively pass a budget. So then we have this funding that's sitting here that's kind of in limbo. And so that has been very difficult as we plan for next school year.
This budget briefing is happening at 1 this afternoon, and all we know right now is that this is a budget that will be investing in several things that they usually invest in when it comes to each school year. But again, there's some uncertainty depending on when the state will pass a budget that, again, may have increases in teacher pay, things like that. So again, this briefing is at 1 o'clock here at CMS headquarters later today. I'll send it back to you guys live here from CMS headquarters.
All right, Destiny, thanks so much. Right now, a man is in jail in connection to a road rage shooting on I-485. 41-year-old Carson Parker is facing multiple charges, including 2 counts of assault with a deadly weapon with intent to kill. The incident happened Saturday on the inner loop of I-485 near the South Boulevard exit. No one was injured in the shooting. Parker is currently being held without bond. More unpaid TSA agents are quitting and calling out amid the partial government shutdown, and airport security lines are reaching maddening new lengths.
Check out this map. It shows the nation's busiest airports that now have immigration agents patrolling them. We reached out to Charlotte Douglas. They tell us they're not aware of any ICE agents here right now and that lines are moving smoothly. Airport officials urge travelers to check flight status and arrive early. Meanwhile, community groups like the Diaper Bank of North Carolina, they are stepping up and stepping in to help support TSA workers who are struggling right now to cover the basic essentials.
When people have jobs and they're working, they're already struggling. And so then you have families that are working and not being paid, as well as gas prices going up and groceries going up. It just makes it more and more difficult. We're sorry that they're going through this, and that if we can make it just a little bit easier on them, then we are just thrilled to do this work.
That distribution helps cover TSA workers at Charlotte, Asheville, and Concord. Republican Congresswoman Nancy Mace has officially filed to run for governor of South Carolina. She joins a crowded primary with fellow House member Ralph Norman, State Attorney General Alan Wilson, Lieutenant Governor Pamela Evette, and State Senator Josh Kimbrell. Those last two, they've announced their intention to run, but they've not formally filed quite yet. Over on the Democratic side, State Representative Jermaine Johnson and Mullins McLeod set to face off. Today, hand counts in that extremely close state Senate race and the Republican primary will happen in Rockingham and Guilford counties. A machine recount has Rockingham County Sheriff Sam Page leading State Senate President Phil Berger by just 23 votes. Berger has filed protests alleging problems with some of the ballots and voter registrations.
How sweet it is. Once again, the Duke Blue Devils are preparing for yet another trip to the Sweet 16 after wins against Siena and TCU in the opening rounds. They haven't always been pretty, but that's what March is, a closer than comfortable game against a 16 seed to trailing TCU until a good talk from John Shire that got the Blue Devils back up and rolling.
Really that we wasn't doing what we were supposed to do. We wasn't turning the ball over, we wasn't rebounding, and understanding that we gotta do everything right because now it's March, and when you don't do everything right, it gets back to you. So rebounding, and that group that was out there made a great job to set the tone, and us coming off the bench after that, just keeping the energy high and making sure that we got a bigger lead.
Duke is representing in the Sweet 16 in both tournaments. The women's squad with a huge win against Baylor Sunday. They have LSU next on Friday. UNC also playing Friday after beating Maryland. But a tough test awaits in the number 1 overall seeded UConn Huskies. And after a dominant win, the South Carolina Gamecocks will play in their 12th straight Sweet 16. They'll take on Oklahoma on Saturday. The Charlotte 49ers have a new head basketball coach. Wes Miller will lead the team next season. He was most recently the head coach at Cincinnati, where he led the team to 3 postseason appearances in 5 years. Before that, he was the head coach at UNCG. In a statement, Miller says he's honored to lead the Charlotte basketball program and plans to build a team that the campus and city are proud to rally around. Charlotte hasn't made the NCAA tournament since 2005.
Well, it's an absolutely beautiful day. Check this out. This is one of my favorite shots. My Monroe camera has been doing well. Now, this is also a really good depiction about what our day is going to look like. Starting off in the morning, it's cloudy overall, but we are still dealing with some sunshine. Shining through the clouds, see a little bit of a spot of blue there, but at times, you're going to see some thicker clouds like this. So that's the reason why it's taking a while for us to get our warm-up going. Also, it's breezy today, so multiple offices have been saying, hey, watch out for any random sparks. Even a chain dragging on the back of a car can create a spark that can lead to an eventual wildfire. We only have 2 across the area, one in Wilkes County and the tiniest one that's almost contained here in Burke County. Well, it is contained, but it's almost fully out. And then by tomorrow, things get a little bit better as those winds start to subside ever so slightly. But the winds are mainly front-loaded for the day, right around 20 miles per hour. Coming out of the northeast, we're going to see a little bit of a come down for our winds, really about 5 to 10 with an occasional gust up to 15 miles per hour. So what can you expect? Highs either side of 50 degrees for you from Fleetwood over to Banner Elk, and the upper 50s really throughout the area going forward for the foothills, the upper Piedmont, Taylorsville, you're at 56, Statesville 57, Salisbury 56, and then upper 50s close to 60 degrees. I think a few individual sites might hit that 60 mark with a lot more sunshine later on today, but it is quite cool compared to just yesterday, about 20 to 25 degrees colder. Look at these clouds though, pretty thick, but we already seeing some breaks. That's why it's really not until later on this afternoon that we see a lot more clearing. Here it is, seeing clouds, a few breaks just as we just saw through that Monroe camera, and then beautiful blue skies really by mid to late afternoon. That's where we do most of our warm up, and then more clouds really mixing in day by day over the next few. Our rainfall chances taking a huge break. We only have an isolated chance on Friday, where it's more so going to be Friday evening that we see this rain. But the concern I have, we don't have a lot that's coming from this system. It rolls through during the evening hours and a lot of it dissipates. So for opening night, we have for the Charlotte Knights, there's a chance for a little bit of rain. It was looking like a thunderstorm potential. I think that would have been a better shot if it was starting late afternoon, early evening. But it's looking well after sunset. That definitely helps us out. And plus, we certainly have that drier air in place. 88 degrees on Friday. That likely is going to be a record. The record's 85, so that's easy. Lower to the mid-60s both days. It's cooler, but not too bad. Sunday starts cold, though. 38 degrees, and no worries. We're going to warm up nicely after that. Mid-70s to start the week. Lower to the mid-80s through the rest of that 10-day forecast. And at that point, check it out. March is almost coming to an end. Officially, we call it April 1st, April Fools, next Wednesday. Okay, no fooling. Let's get right over the traffic, see what's going on this morning.
All right, good morning, everyone. Let's get to it. I want to show you I-77 because we are looking at a slowdown. This is the state line, so coming in from York County into Mecklenburg County, traffic is just running a little slower than it typically already is this time of the day. Mile marker 90 right here. Want to show you my map because while we do have lots of ongoing issues, I would say this one is the most problematic because of how many people typically drive this way. Again, I-77 northbound as you're approaching the North Carolina, South Carolina state line right there, and we're seeing backups all the way towards about exit 85. This is exit 90, so you're seeing how the cars are moving. They're just moving a little slower than they typically would be if there's not a crash. Secondly, we're still following this accident impacting I-485. This is the east part of it. This is the outer loop at Albemarle Road. We are seeing some delays through Blair Road, so make sure you just allow for a few extra minutes to get to where you need to be this morning.
Majestic, thanks. 7:41 right now. Decades-old allegations lead to a jaw-dropping courtroom decision. We hear from one of Bill Cosby's accusers next.
Well, this Women's History Month, we're celebrating a CMPD officer who has been on the job for more than a decade. Officer Jasmine Nivens has worked homicide cases, recruited new officers, and is now building bridges between CMPD and the communities it serves.
It's a big job. WCNC Charlotte anchor Lisa Washington sat down with Officer Nivens to talk about what drew her to the badge and what keeps her coming back every single day.
What started as a school project when she was just 16 led Jasmine Nivens to a career as a police officer with Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police.
At that time, I was able to ride with a homicide detective. And I was like, wow, he took me on a scene and it sealed the deal. It was awesome.
Now, in her 12th year on the force, Officer Nivens is the community coordinator, meeting business owners and neighbors in the department's central division, which includes Uptown. She's also worked as a patrol officer, a detective, and a recruiter, and says being a woman in a profession largely dominated by men often presents an opportunity to define for others what it means to be a woman who wears a badge.
It does shock me when I hear people say, you're the first female officer I've seen, or you're the first black female officer I've seen. In my head, I'm always confused because I'm like, well, I see female officers all the time. But perception does matter. So, and of course, CMPD is still working towards our 30 by 30 initiative.
The department's 30 by 30 initiative aims to staff 30% of the department with women by the year 2030. According to CMPD's 2025 annual report, 16% of the department's officers now are women. Officer Nivens is part of that broader shift in the department and in her work to build trust in the community.
No matter what position that I've had, I've always had the ability to interact and engage and build a bond with the community. It's not something to be shocked by, and it's not unheard of now to see females in every unit and in every division.
Her efforts continue to change perceptions as she protects and serves. Lisa Washington, WCNC Charlotte.
A California jury has awarded millions to a woman who accused Bill Cosby of sexually abuse dating more back than 50 years. Donna Motzinger has been awarded over $59 million in damages after she testified Cosby sexually abused her in 1972 while she was working as a restaurant server in Northern California. Motzinger and her attorney spoke out following that verdict.
I believe with all my heart this is justice for all the women, and I find a lot of joy in that.
But his pattern and practice of despicable conduct by illegally obtaining Quaaludes from an OBGYN buddy of his at a poker table and getting more than 7 prescription refills for those drugs and illegally drugging women and raping them. And we put on that evidence to prove his pattern and practice of deceit.
Now, the lawsuit alleges Cosby followed her home, later invited her to a performance and provided her with a drink and a pill that left her ill. Cosby, now 88, has denied the allegations.
The Supreme Court has refused to hear an appeal from a Texas death row inmate, Rodney Reed, who was sentenced for the 1996 killing of 19-year-old Stacy Stites and accused of rape and murder. Reed wanted to test crime scene evidence he says could prove his innocence. The court left in place a lower court ruling against him. He claims Stites' fiance at the time was the real killer. His case has drawn support from celebrities like Beyonce, Kim Kardashian, and Oprah. 7:47 right now, live picture right now, I-77, slow going partially, the other half just fine. We'll get more information from Justic right after the break. All right, we've got a breaking news update on that story we mentioned just a few minutes ago in Chesterfield County. In the last few minutes, we've learned that Myasia McIver has been found safe. Take a look at your screen. Deputies say the man you see right there, Kendrick Terry, kidnapped her from a home on Cleveland Street in Cheraw. We're told, though, that Terry is still at large. Police don't know where he is. He was last seen in a black shirt, blue shorts, and a blue do-rag. Terry believed to be driving this white GMC Terrain you see on the right-hand side of your screen. Police say he's armed and dangerous. If you see him, they say do not approach him. Call police instead. All right, turning back to your weather impact forecast. Here's Chris.
Back to light jacket territory. This is the time of year that it's really tough to keep up. This is also the time of year that I feel like every different variety of layer in my back seat, where I know I have a sweatshirt, I know I have a heavier coat that I need to remove, and I have a lighter jacket that I actually grabbed this morning. So light jacket, sweatshirt, long sleeves, all appropriate. Now more sunshine late in the afternoon is going to help us, even with temperatures only reaching around this range, 59 to 60 degrees, and the pants, I would definitely have those. No shorts alert until we get to about Friday. Now, for some of us, it's going to be as early as Thursday, where we're back to 80 degrees. But our high today of 59, meaning that we're mainly hanging out in the 50s throughout the afternoon. Lunchtime, mostly cloudy skies likely, and then I think that we start to see partly cloudy to turning mostly sunny, and then might even have wall-to-wall sunshine to end the day with those temperatures in the mid to the upper 50s. So this is a little bit more orthodox. Yesterday was great. We had a high of 85 degrees, but then temperatures started to chill down and actually felt a lot more comfortable by day's end. It's also one of my favorite days, Taco Tuesday, and that's what our family likes to do most Tuesdays. Lots of sunshine at this point, so if you're eating outside, definitely dress accordingly. It's not ideal. Sunshine makes it better. That sun is slowly setting. So going forward, it's a really interesting forecast. We have 40 degrees tonight. That is going to be one of the chilliest lows that we have going forward. Tomorrow, 67, and then 80 degrees is my pick of the week. That is going to be a delightful day overall, and I think it's a nice mix of cloud and sunshine. The only reason why I'm not putting our 88 on Friday as pick of the week is that there are a lot of question marks. Now, for some of us, I think you might choose that as your number one, but there's still a chance for rain, even though right now it is trending a little bit deeper into the evening. But one thing Friday is going to be, regardless, is record-breaking. This is an easy record for this time of year, one of the lowest records we have for late March, only 85 degrees for March 27th. Well, we're going to do it. 88 degrees will be the new record high, and outside of that, temperatures will start to cool down heading into the weekend. Our weekend, if you're already thinking about it, I know I am, well, it's going to be much cooler, so keep that in mind. We should stay dry. Look at that low, though, on Sunday, 38 degrees, a chilly start. Okay, let's see how things are looking for our cooler morning commute.
Still following this accident here, this is going to be I-77. I want to show you this one. This is right by the state line because there's a crash that's slowing you down. So if you're taking inbound lanes, this is mile marker 90 out by Carowinds. You can see northbound lanes are being impacted. We're not at a complete stop and go. However, it is moving quite slowly. We have a handful of ongoing problems, but I would say this one is going to be most impactful right now. Again, I-77 northbound as you're approaching the state line, backed up to about exit 85. So if you're coming in from South Carolina, that one's for you. Another thing to mention, this is something new. It's going to be north of Uptown here, 485, the outer loop at Old Statesfield Road. It's backed up to Prosperity Church Road. That's exit 26. You can see that orange there indicating there is slow moving conditions. Not a stop and go, but again, slowing you down. 485 on the east side of Uptown. So I-485, that's going to be the outer loop at Albemarle Road. We've been following this one for about an hour now. We're seeing delays through Blair Road. Not completely cleared, but we are making some progress. Guys.
Okay, thanks, Majestic. Well, some good news. It's National Cocktail Day.
How about that? Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. The perfect excuse to celebrate your favorite mixed drinks.
From classics like margaritas and martinis to creative new concoctions. Today, all about raising a glass. Bartenders say this is one of the most fun days of the year to try something maybe you've never had before. I say that, though, it's 7:54 in the morning.
It's almost our 5 o'clock, though.
So, I mean, be responsible about it at least. I know. But you know what? If it's something sweet or sour, strong, spicy, there's something out there for you. So maybe later tonight. Mix it up. Enjoy.
Favorite cocktail? Go.
Espresso martini.
I do enjoy it.
Solid.
Yeah. I don't mind a regular martini, vodka soda.
Okay. I'm a dirty martini.
I'm not
girl.
anything crazy like out there.
Okay. Well,
I like dirty martinis.
dirty martini.
Especially
blue cheese
with blue
olive.
cheese, yes.
Thank you. Have to. Not too dirty though. I don't like mine like filthy.
Whatever has the most clever name.
Oh, you would be.
I would like that. Look at the
guy.
menu. I was just like, oh, what's that? I'll try that.
Or the one that's
the
like
flamingo
bright
mingo.
blue.
What's
Chris
that
is
one?
Like, that looks
That
great.
looks great.
With
Yeah.
like Twizzlers coming out of
and
it.
a balloon and stuff.
Half the time I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
So I need to change my strategy maybe
really
for National
should.
Cocktail Day.
Has a big plastic flamingo
I
coming
know.
out.
Yes. Yeah,
Like, this is great if you can hardly gulp it down.
All right, live pictures right now over Uptown as you start your National Cocktail Day. Keep it right here on WCNC Plus.
Last at this time yesterday, and do you remember it was great? Temperatures were in the upper 60s. Now our highs aren't even going to reach that today. 44 is our current temperature, but if you factor in a breezy morning, it feels like 38 degrees as we're looking at beautiful Uptown. And at times it is going to be cloudy through this morning. By the afternoon, things start to get a little bit brighter, even though we do have some bright spots right now. 59 degrees, that's your high right around Mecklenburg County. Same thing in York County. 57 for you in Hickory, 51 in Boone. A lot more sunshine mid to late afternoon as we're clearing out these clouds, so the sky is changing every hour until we get to about 2-3 o'clock. Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast has a nice little upward climb though. 67 by tomorrow, so much warmer, but it will be a colder start. Either side of 40 degrees, that means many of us plummet into the 30s. 50 degrees your start on Thursday, which looks to be the pick of the week, right around 80 degrees, then 88 a record on Friday. Majestic, what's going on?
Good morning, everyone. Well, here we go. We are off to another busy start to the day. We're following everything for you over on WCNC Plus. But for now, this is going to be I-85 out near Billy Graham, where conditions are flowing just fine. But my map, let me tell you what, we have a lot of problems that are ongoing. Still following a crash on I-77. If you're coming in from York County, heading into Mecklenburg County, make sure you have plenty of drive time.
Streaming live right now at 8 o'clock right here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Megan Bragan for Lisa Washington.
We are following a breaking news update in Chesterfield County. In the last few minutes, we have learned Myasia McIver has been found safe. Take a look at your screen. Deputies say this man, Kendrick Terry, kidnapped her from a home on Cleveland Street in Cheraw. We're told Terry, though, still on the run. Last seen in a black shirt, blue shorts, blue do-rag, believed to be driving that white GMC Terrain you see there. He is believed to be armed and dangerous, and police say do not approach him. Instead, call 911 immediately if you know where he is. This morning, we are learning more about a shooting at a pool party in North Charlotte that left one person dead and 4 others injured.
It happened on Hucks Road near Old Statesville Road. WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane is live in that neighborhood this morning. Good morning, Richard.
Hey, good morning to you, Megan. Good morning, Ben. Good Tuesday morning, everyone. Yeah, that pool party happened not far from where I'm standing. This particular church actually was having a service when all of a sudden they heard police sirens and they quickly adjourned their service because of what happened. Now, this North Charlotte community is still on edge after that pool party turned violent over this weekend. It began as a typical pool party, but quickly spiraled into chaos. You're looking at video from that party with neighbors reporting music, then followed by multiple gunshots as the evening went on. Police say hundreds of teens gathered Sunday night on Hucks Road, this near Old Statesville Road, when the shooting started. Afterwards, 20-year-old Richard Thomas killed, 4 others injured. The homeowner who had rented out the pool in the past on an app called Simplify says this event was not booked through that usual platform. It was a makeup from a previous day that it was booked, leaving her now uncertain about the continuing on in the future doing so. The aftermath, of course, has left the neighborhood shaken, with families raising concerns about their safety and supervision, and here at the church about the fact that they had to actually cancel their services.
And we heard multiple shots that we began to dismiss the service. And then when we went outside, our security went outside, we saw multiple police, CMPD, traveling in sync order, like 20, 30 cars. And it was really alarming and concerning. But there needs to be some type of social engagement to get it. It's been plagued throughout the world with these young teenagers between the age of 16 to 21.
As it would appear, right now police say they know that there were hundreds of teens there. They're still talking to them, still investigating this, and they say if anyone has any information, regardless of what it is, to please give police a call. At this time, they say that's very important. We're right here in North Charlotte. This is Richard Devane. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
All right, Richard, thanks. Right now, we are working to learn more about a deadly crash in Matthews. It happened last night on Independence Boulevard outbound right off I-45. This is a look at that scene. Medic confirming one person was killed. Another was hospitalized with life-threatening injuries. No word on what caused that crash. An investigation continues this morning after a deadly shooting in Burke County has now been ruled as self-defense. It happened back on March 1st at a home on Brown Mountain Beach Road in Morganton. The district attorney's office says that 52-year-old Michael Cinco was shot and killed. They tell us the investigation remains ongoing. A former high school football coach now out on bond this morning after he was accused of inappropriate conduct with students. Prosecutors say 22-year-old Jonathan Henderson created a fake online profile, got his players to send him naked photos of themselves. School officials at Christ the King Catholic High School in Huntersville say it came after Henderson was removed from his position for holding unauthorized football training sessions and communicating with players through unauthorized channels. While out on bond, he can't work anywhere he would be supervising minors. His next hearing is April 8th.
An officer and suspect are recovering after a police chase ended in a serious crash. It started in Buncombe County when police were following up on an investigation with Mitchell Gunter. Gunter then took off, striking a detective with his vehicle. He was involved and collided in an intersection just moments later. Investigators say after that crash, he stole a truck and began another police chase. The chase ended with another crash in Avery County. He now faces a list of charges.
Some overdue upgrades coming to Bojangles Coliseum and Ovens Auditorium. Charlotte City Council approving $25 million in improvements. A majority of it will go towards replacing the HVAC systems. City staff say some of the units are from the 1950s. The rest of that money will go probably things like plumbing, electric, and parking. Officials say it's good for the venues, but also the surrounding neighborhoods.
That's going to be $25 million coming back to East Charlotte, coming back to a venue that is uniquely placed in Black and brown neighborhoods that will really rejuvenate that area.
City staff said they're moving quickly to get the equipment installed by next summer to avoid canceling or rescheduling any events. 8:05 now. Turning back to your weather impact forecast with Chris. A bit cooler than yesterday, Chris.
It certainly is, and we're also just as dry as yesterday. The big difference is about 20 to 25 degrees colder than just a day ago. And the temperatures are actually pretty staggering, but actually not too unusual. We're pretty close to where we should be this time of the year. We've been just truly spoiled overall, and then 40 degrees is the low right around Hickory. And then really going forward, you can expect pretty much a seasonal lows up and down before we get well above the average. So this morning, we dropped down to around 44, 43 is the average. Tomorrow, we can see that we're back down below that. But look at this little surge, back to 63. Our Friday morning low is actually going to be warmer than our high today. So that really puts in perspective. And whenever you're starting off in the 60s, especially this time of year, that means the mid to the upper 80s is a good bet. And that's exactly what we're going to see. But just letting you know that 38 degree point is coming along. So bus stop goers really have been enjoying more of a cloudy and still a cooler start, but when the kids get home, we'll see a lot more sunshine with a high right around 59 degrees, 67 for tomorrow, and then 80 degrees for your Thursday. So your Friday, though, this is the one that really separates itself from all the rest. It's interesting that it's actually a pretty low record that we have for this day in climatology. So I don't know where this one just came from. For this day in climatology, sorry, I'm having some computer issues. Nope. That's not right. Hold on. Problems adjusting. There we go. 88 degrees is what we usually have for Friday. 85, though, that's actually one of the lowest late March records that we have on record, because usually it's this time of year that we're popping close to about the 88, 89, multiple 87s. And we've already, so far this March, hit 87 degrees officially 3 times. And this is going to be either number 4 or this is going to be the hottest temperature that we've had so far. So just keep that in mind. It's also going to start to feel a little bit more on the humid side. We are starting to see an uptick as far as some of those dew points are concerned. Nothing too bad, nothing that's really a big anomaly, but all in all, it is still going to be a little bit more around that humid zone. You can also see a little spike heading into your Thursday as well, but barely anything. But it's only one day that you're really starting to feel a lot more of that humidity starting to sneak in. Our 7 to 10 day forecast, check this out. You have a drop that we already are witnessing today, 59 degrees, and then we're warming up to that 88 degree point. By the way, it's opening night for the Charlotte Knights. So baseball is back in action. It's unbelievable. And then the Charlotte Ascent dealing with a chillier game. Should be a mostly sunny day. So I like what's happening here. We do have one rain chance. It's mainly going to be during your Friday evening and overnight. 66 degrees around Sunday and then 76. And I love our end game. We're right back to the lower to the mid 80s. This time of year, I always keep our averages up to the top. 67 degrees is our typical normal high. Well, as you can see, we're either right near that or below for 4 of the days. All the rest, the 70s and mainly the 80s taking over. So this is actually way too early to have this many 80s, but I know a lot of us are not complaining. Okay, let's see what you maybe have complaints for the traffic department with Majestic.
All right, here we go. This is I-85 right here out near University City, where traffic is flowing all right. Not seeing any major slowdowns. You can see my map, though. We have several icons still following this accident here. I-77 inbound right between the North Carolina, South Carolina state line. So if you're coming in from York County, those lanes are moving quite slow, especially between exits 90 and 85. Once we're heading to the north of Uptown, this is I-485, the outer loop, right by I-77. It's Old Statesfield Road backed up to Prosperity Church Road. Minimal delays there. Again, this is live camera coming in out towards I-85. Nice dry area roadways. Just grab a jacket as you're heading out the door because it is a little bit chilly. A new crash right here. It's going to be on Lancaster Highway inbound at Valentine Commons Parkway. Seeing mainly green with it, so not seeing huge delays. And then this one that we've been talking about for a while over at Old Pineville Road. It did just clear, so making a little progress there. Megan.
All right, thanks, Majestic. And before we head to break, here's an exclusive shopping deal for our viewers.
There is nothing sweeter than the Sweet 16, and March Madness is upon us. So what are you going to do if it's your college, your university, your alma mater that's in that Sweet 16. Well, you celebrate and you do it big. Now, it's one thing to have a hat or a t-shirt, but I know you don't have this. Great gift for that college fan. Use it to decorate any outdoor space, and it'll hold up to all climates. This is the Hollyball collegiate version. It's made out of a UV-resistant engineered polymer. It inflates to 30 inches, so it's a big slice of team pride. And in less than 2 minutes, you've got something that nobody else would have. Great for the patio, the deck, the pool area. Use it indoors as well. And after the season is over, it's not a one-use deal. You deflate it and it fits right into this container so you can use it again next year when you go back to the Sweet 16. Something different, something unique, and that's what we love to offer you here. Now, retail value is $59.99. Our deal price is $39.99. That's 33% off. So how do you get yours? It's easy. Scan the QR code, do it now, or check us out at shoptvdeals.com.
.13 right now here on WCNC Plus. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents deployed to 14 U.S. airports Monday. Their goal to help understaffed and currently unpaid TSA workers during the ongoing partial government shutdown. So how long will they be needed? At this point, it's too soon to tell. John Lawrence reports as Markwayne Mullen is confirmed Secretary of Homeland Security.
Some progress in Washington, D.C.
On this vote, the ayes are 54, the nays are 45. The nomination of Markwayne Mullen of Oklahoma to be Secretary of Homeland Security is confirmed.
The 48-year-old is taking over a department that hasn't been funded since February 14th.
Let's make it very clear. Donald Trump is the one standing in the way of paychecks for TSA workers.
But it appears some progress may be coming on that front as well. Top Republican senators met at the White House Monday night with a proposal aimed toward funding DHS, aside from a small section of the immigration enforcement budget, which analysts say appears to be a concession to Democratic lawmakers.
I'm not getting ahead of the president on what he wants to see in the end. No, he's talking to members of Congress on both sides, so I'll leave that final decision up to the president. But regardless of what happens the next several days, I'm just going to keep doing the mission the president assigned us.
But until the stalemate is broken, ICE agents will be at several airports lending assistance to unpaid TSA employees.
I do say that I think they should just fund the Department of Homeland Security, pay those workers. They're here for a reason, to protect us every day, and I don't think ICE agents should really be up there just filling in the hole.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Republican Senator Susan Collins told reporters that she's, quote, optimistic we're on a good track. Democratic Senator Chris Murphy said the funding of DHS, aside from the ICE enforcement, would be the easiest way forward. The federal trial of former Miami Congressman David Rivera underway in Miami. He's accused of illegally lobbying on behalf of Venezuela's government during the first Trump administration. Prosecutors say Rivera failed to register as a foreign agent while pushing to ease U.S. policy towards the Maduro regime under a multi-million-dollar contract. They also plan to call Marco Rubio, current Secretary of State, as a witness to testify about his interactions with Rivera. Rivera denies any wrongdoing.
The Defense Department is changing how and where journalists can work at the Pentagon after losing a court case over its previous media policy. A long-used workspace for credentialed reporters will be closed and replaced with a new area in an annex outside the main building. Reporters will also need an escort to access the Pentagon itself. The department is revising the rules reporters must agree to for credentials, clarifying prohibited activities. Despite the changes, the Pentagon says it plans to appeal last week's court decision. The U.S. Supreme Court has blocked enforcement of Texas law that could have made it a crime for journalists to report on certain government activities. The law passed in 2023 targeted people who record or share information about law enforcement without consent. Critics said it posed a serious threat to press freedom and could chill news gathering across the state. The court's order stops the law from being applied while legal challenges do move forward. All right, Chris, let's take a look at weather right now.
Right now, the computer is down as we're just restarting, but I can still talk about our forecast. We are looking at some upper-level clouds that are going to be moving on through, and that upper-level clouds are going to eventually start to erode for some sunshine. But in the meantime, we're going to toss to break. We'll be right back, coming up here shortly. Welcome back, everyone. I think I got my graphics working. We'll see how this works. Okay, 83 on Saturday, 87 on Sunday, 85 for your Monday, and then 59. What the? Well, 57 degrees right around Hickory, and then 56 in Salisbury. It is a chilly willy day, especially compared to yesterday. We're talking about a 25-degree difference. And we also were celebrating the upper 60s around this hour. It was mid to the upper 60s, and then we're now hanging out throughout the real 40s is the general range, 40 degrees exactly right around Hickory. So for your Sunday, that was a third time that we've actually hit that 87-degree point. We're eventually going to get back there. It's just not going to happen right away. But looking at our long-range forecast, it is going to be one that is going to be of the warmer variety. So our 6 to 10-day outlook, and that brings us into the second day of March, has us in that yellowy orange color, and that is representing that we have a very low but still higher chance for above average temperatures. But once you get to the 8 to 14 day, boy, we're looking at a big surge. And you can actually see the 6 to 10 day outlook, as I frequently will show you the 10-day forecast. Notice how we have the 70s into the 80s. The reason why I'm mentioning this is likely we're going to have a cold front move through, but I don't think it's going to be as drastic of a drop as what we've been dealing with recently. So we're at 59 today, right back to 88, so that will be a record-breaking day before we have 61, and then we'll have the lower to the mid-80s. Once you reach the Friday morning time frame, you're almost talking about record territory for a warmer low record. We will see another big drop behind a cold front that, check it out, on Sunday you have 38 degrees. Oftentimes behind a cold front, the coldest day will come right afterwards, but usually the coldest morning will come the following morning. And that's exactly what we're seeing in this most recent passage of a front. That's why tomorrow morning is the coldest at 40 degrees. Well, we're going to see that again once that front passes on Friday night, heading into your Saturday, and then another nice little comeback to 63 degrees for a very warm April 2nd. Can you believe it? We're almost to April, and it is actually feeling more like May. March has been wacky. It's been all over the place, but look at our rain chances. This is actually starting to get kind of troublesome. 20%. That's it. Now, normally, you'd be like, okay, this is great. We have dry weather. But the problem is our drought monitor is really going off the charts as far as that severe to extreme level. Well, we're going to be rocking right around that range. But our 8 to 14 day outlook finally starts to nudge that, okay, we might be able to have at least an equal shot of above average precipitation. But still, it's trending overall dry over the next 10 days. So that likely means our next drought monitor is going to really hit the worser numbers. So we actually could see another decrease on Thursday. By the way, the drought monitor, officially, the numbers are concluded today. They're calculated. The map officially comes out every Thursday. So Tuesday it's calculated, Thursday it actually comes out. Here's our next rain chance, and it's minuscule. If you're going to opening night, there is a chance for a little bit of rain, but watch what happens. It really arrives well after opening night, so it would be the back innings even if it does rain. There was a chance for thunderstorms. That could still be a possibility, but looks like it's going to dissipate mainly as it moves through. That, of course, could change, but that is our next rain chance. All right, let's see what's our next accident or what's happening right now with Majestic.
All right, let's get to it. Good morning, everyone. We are still following some active things going on for your morning commute. I mean, look at my map. There's lots of icons. Let's go over a few of the newest ongoing problems. This one here, we're seeing slowdowns. It's right there. We're at Sunset Road, at Reams Road. You can see the orange and the yellow indicating some minor delays there. Now heading up to the north, this is I-485, the outer loop specifically at Old Statesville Road. I'm seeing some nice clearing. There was a lot more colors on I-485, but at this point, we like to see a lot of green. Next up, we have Harris Boulevard. This crash just reported about 5 minutes ago near I-485. And the last thing is this. As we zoom it in, we have delays coming in all directions. This is Billy Graham Parkway southbound lanes at West Boulevard. It's backed up to I-85. So we have 4 active things to let you know about for now. We'll have another check on those roads coming up soon.
All right, thanks, Majestic. Today in women's history, back in 2002, Halle Berry became the first black woman to win Best Actress at the Academy Awards for her role in Monsters Ball. Her win broke a major barrier in Hollywood and brought attention to the need for more representation. Berry also used her speech to honor the black actresses who came before her. More than 2 decades later, her achievement remains a powerful moment in women's history. We're going to take a quick break, but keep it right here on WCNC Plus. We'll be back at 8:30.
Clouds mixing in throughout this morning, but a wind chill of 38. Do you remember? It was actually around the mid to the upper 60s, so feeling 30 degrees warmer compared to just a day ago. But all in all, it is going to be a much better day once you get to the back end of the forecast. A lot more sunshine as you're going to be concluding the day. We are starting to see a nice warm up after today, but it's going to be really a patient game for us. Meanwhile, today we should be around 67 degrees. Not the case. Instead, we have 59 degrees, but this will be the coolest day that we have going forward. But look at the difference. Cloudier sky around 1, lots of sunshine by 5 p.m. So our Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast all the way up. 88 degrees will be a record day this coming Friday. Slight chance for rain mainly during your Friday evening. That will be a little dip heading into the weekend, but not too bad. Right back to the 70s and 80s through most of next week. Majestic, take it away.
Tuesday morning, everyone. This is what I-77 looks like right now. If you're heading out near Clanton, traffic is flowing nice and smooth. Not seeing any big delays there. However, we're still following a handful of ongoing wrecks this morning over on WCNC Plus until 9 o'clock. This is a new crash. This is on Sunset Road at Reams Road, where I'm seeing delays coming in all directions. And then I-45, the outer loop at Old Statesville Road, may have some stop-and-go traffic at times.
Thanks for joining us live on WCNC Plus at 8:30 on this Tuesday. I'm Megan Bragg and for Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson. We continue to follow some breaking news from this morning in Chesterfield County. We've now learned Myasia McIver has now been found safe. Take a look at your screen. Deputies say this man, Kendrick Terry, kidnapped her from a home on Cleveland Street in Cheraw. We're told he, though, is still on the run. He was last seen in a black shirt, blue shorts, and blue do-rag, believed to be driving that white GMC Terrain you see here, and is believed to be armed and dangerous. So police say if you see him, do not approach him. Call police.
New this morning, a man is behind bars for a deadly hit and run here in Charlotte. Police say Thomas Haynes was arrested Monday morning in connection to that deadly hit and run earlier this month on the plaza that killed 23-year-old Sophie Kibble. Haynes now faces multiple charges, including second-degree murder and felony hit and run. Haynes is expected in court today at 10 a.m. In just hours, CMS is set to outline its proposed budget for next school year.
WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards now live at CMS headquarters this morning. Destiny, give us an idea of some of the things we're expecting inside of this plan.
Yeah, we won't have specific numbers from the budget until later today when CMS leaders break it all down. But we do know that they plan to invest in several things like teacher pay, student technology, and we'll learn how they plan to handle certain rising costs as well. This is all for next school year. So district leaders will this afternoon walk through their proposed budget for the 2026-27 school year. Chief Financial Officer Kelly Klutz is expected to explain how the district is allocating resources to support student success and meet the district's changing needs. They're also looking at shifting staffing, mostly through people retiring or leaving, to match changing enrollment numbers, while preparing for rising costs like utilities and facility needs. But on top of all of that, there's still uncertainty from Raleigh, as lawmakers have yet to pass a state budget.
When that doesn't happen, we are required legislatively to pass a budget at a certain time. The county's required to legislatively pass a budget. So then we have this funding that's sitting here that's kind of in limbo. And so that has been very difficult as we plan for next school year.
The budget briefing is happening at 1 o'clock this afternoon, and the district says the goal really is to keep schools running smooth and stable next year, while also financially planning for those unknowns. Live at CMS headquarters, I'm Destiny Richards, WCNC Charlotte.
All right, thanks, Destiny. Right now, a man is in jail in connection to a road rage shooting on I-485. 41-year-old Carson Parker is facing multiple charges, including 2 counts of assault with a deadly weapon with intent to kill. The incident happened Saturday on the inner loop of I-485 near the South Boulevard exit. No one was injured in the shooting. Parker is currently being held without bond.
Republican Congressman Nancy Mace officially filing to run for governor of South Carolina. She joins a crowded primary with fellow House member Ralph Norman, State Attorney General Alan Wilson, Lieutenant Governor Pamela Evette, and State Senator Josh Kimbrell have also announced their intention to run. They've not officially filed. Over on the Democratic side, State Representative Jermaine Johnson and Mullins McLeod set to face off. Today, hand counts in that extremely close state Senate Republican primary will happen in Rockingham and Guilford counties. A machine recount has Rockingham County Sheriff Sam Page leading State Senate President Phil Berger by 23 votes. Meantime, Berger's filed protests alleging problems with certain ballots and voter registrations.
Well, how sweet it is. Once again, the Duke Blue Devils are preparing for yet another trip to the Sweet 16 after wins against Siena and TCU in the opening rounds. They haven't always been pretty, but that's what March is all about. It also is closer than comfortable game against a 16 seed to trailing TCU until a good talk from John Shire that got the Blue Devils back up and rolling.
Really that we wasn't doing what we were supposed to do. We wasn't turning the ball over, we wasn't rebounding, and understanding that we gotta do everything right because now it's March, and when you don't do everything right, it gets back to you. So rebounding, and that group that was out there made a great job to set the tone, and us coming off the bench after that, just keeping the energy high and making sure that we got a bigger lead.
Duke is representing in the Sweet 16 in both tournaments. This women's squad with a win against Baylor Sunday. They have LSU next on Friday. UNC also playing Friday after beating Maryland, but a tough test awaits in the #1 overall seeded UConn Huskies. And after a dominant win, the South Carolina Gamecocks will play in their 12th straight Sweet 16. They'll take on Oklahoma on Saturday. The Charlotte 49ers have a new head basketball coach. Wes Miller will lead the team next season. He was most recently the head coach at Cincinnati, where he led the team to 3 postseason appearances in 5 years. Before that, he was the head coach at UNCG. In a statement, Miller says he's honored to lead the Charlotte basketball program and plans to build a team that the campus and city are proud to rally around. Charlotte hasn't made the NCAA tournament since 2005.
All right, thanks a lot, Megan. So check it out, a lot of upper level clouds, so it's overall going to be a cloudier morning. We saw a little bit of blue sky, and we still will have some breaks here and there, but this is going to be our main jam over the next few hours. And I have to tell you a disappointing update. Now, it's not unusual for this time of year. You expect this. But our previous peak, as far as our pollen count, has doubled. And that was a first initial peak that was early March. That's the first time we really felt it. But if you felt a little bit more pain as far as pollen goes yesterday, There's a reason for it because that's our highest spike, and it's typically now through the first week of April that we have a chance to even double this number. Now, the highest we've ever gone is 5,200, and the way that is measured by the Department of Natural Resources is grains per cubic meter. So this is likely not going to be anywhere near 2024, but just letting you know, I have seen before in some years that these numbers for the peak this time of the year, like literally on the 24th, sometimes double to even triple heading into April. So there's a chance for much higher and a lot more inconvenience as far as pollen counts go and our allergies. Our winds, that's one of the biggest drivers. That's also the reason why we have a high fire danger for today as well. Winds out of the north and the northeast. Eventually, we're going to shift these out of a warmer direction. That's why we'll start to warm up tomorrow, but not right away. It should be a calmer end to the day, but still occasional gusts up to about 15 miles per hour. Close to 50 degrees up in the North Carolina mountains. We have the mid to the upper 50s through the foothills in the northern Piedmont. 59 degrees, so most of us hanging out in the 50s club. A few of us could just pop up to that 60-degree point, but let's be honest, it's really in the 50s today. And 58 degrees in Lancaster, same temperature over in Chesterfield. Here's all that clouds that I'm talking about. It's going to take a while to get rid of these. At times it will feel a little bit brighter, and at times it's going to feel a little bit of a darker sky. We're seeing some precip further off towards the west. Shouldn't be really a big deal for us. Instead, we're just waiting on some of that clearing, and that's exactly what this shows on our futurecast, showing a lot more sunshine slowly appearing, slowly but surely through the afternoon. I really think mid to late afternoon it's a whole lot brighter, and then we kind of rinse and repeat on and off cloud cover. Should be staying dry really in the near term. I don't see any wet weather systems until late on Friday, and that's not even really a big deal. I have an isolated chance on Friday, but it's looking like more of a Friday evening type of event that we could drift in a few of those showers. Here's what it looks like. Nothing that's really too huge. You have this one band of rain that starts to sink its way down towards the south. That could affect some Friday evening plans, but it looks to be mainly rain over thunderstorms. 7-day forecast shows the upper 80s on Friday, so another hot day. So this would be the fourth time we've been in the upper 80s. Another big cool front will eventually cool us down in the lower to the mid 60s, but then no problem warming up yet again heading into next week. All right, we're getting right around the peak to even passing it for our morning commute. Let's see the status.
Lots of ongoing accidents, but we'll start with this just to give you perspective as to what those roads are looking like. This is I-77 now out near Remount. So yes, you can expect it is busy out there as we're nearing that 9 o'clock hour. Couple of new ongoing issues. This right here is on Independence. It's the outbound lanes right at Harris Boulevard. So we have traffic heading inbound and accident heading outbound. Once we head just to the west, we have two accidents that are really close to one another. This one here is South Windover Road right near Providence Road. I'm seeing delays coming in all directions, but then heading just to the east, not too far away, seems like the traffic is getting worse with this one. It's right at the intersection of Randolph Road and Windover Road. An accident right there, just slowing folks down for the morning commute. Then lastly, this is right in Uptown. It's on East 4th Street, northbound right after South McDowell Street. Just make sure you have plenty of time to get to where you need to be this morning. Minor inconvenience with this one as it is getting cleared right now. Guys.
All right, thanks, Majestic. Fewer people are crossing state lines for abortions, but new numbers reveal a major change. What's driving it ahead? Time now 8:42. Police in Independence, Missouri are investigating after fentanyl was discovered inside Barbie doll packaging at a local store. Officers say a security guard first found a suspicious powder on a box, which later tested positive for the powerful drug. Investigators believe the item may have been contaminated before arriving at the store, and all affected products have since been recovered.
It shows that the fentanyl outbreak is still real. And now we're starting to find it in places that we normally wouldn't. A child's toy, for example. 2025 statistics aren't out, but in 2024, 57% of all overdose deaths were fentanyl related.
Experts warn fentanyl is extremely dangerous even in tiny amounts and say the case highlights how widespread the crisis has become. Police say no injuries have been reported as the investigation continues. Well, it's been called mom brain, cognitive changes that happen after a woman gives birth.
And while having symptoms like forgetfulness can be a struggle, one expert says this postpartum period isn't all bad. Mandy Gaither explains why a doctor says mom brain can be a superpower.
It can be both the best and hardest time of your life. Becoming a parent means more responsibility and less sleep. It can take time for your brain to adjust.
Mom brain has gotten a bad rap over the years.
Dr. Tamar Gore with the Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center says mom brain can happen when there's a major transition becoming a parent, where you're juggling lots of new challenges like time management, mental fog, reduced focus, forgetfulness, and staying socially connected, all while functioning through severe sleep deprivation and hormonal shifts. Gore says during this time, the brain is changing.
It's actually just a really intentional growth in certain parts of your brain and a restructuring. And so just like when your house gets renovated, you have to put up with some dust and bother, but it's for long-term good.
Getting through mom brain struggles in the short term starts with recognizing what's happening, reframing your mindset, knowing that when you forget something or can't focus, there's a reason why, and it's okay. Next, take care of you.
You can't pour from an empty cup. And so it's really important that you're keeping your batteries filled as best you can.
Gore says that means prioritizing sleep when it's possible, eating healthy, exercising, showering and getting dressed every day, and going outside for fresh air and sunlight.
It's really just one part of what makes women Wonder Women and really makes them take on a lot of new tasks in their lives.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Doctors say that it's critical for all moms to be supported and feel supported and not to throw around negative terms. This is a healthy and normal part of the postpartum period and can help with cognitive function in the long term.
Abortion travel in the United States fell last year, according to new data. There were more than 1.1 million clinicians providing abortions in 2025, about the same as the year before. An estimated 142,000 from crossed state lines for care, which is about 12,000 fewer than in 2024. Experts say the drop is mostly due to fewer people traveling from states with total abortion bans. Meanwhile, telehealth abortions increased, with about 91,000 provided under SHIELD laws, up nearly 25% from the previous year.
The use of popular weight loss drugs known as GLP-1s rising across the country, but experts say medication alone is not enough. About 1 in 8 adults now report using these drugs to help lose weight. In January alone, more than 600,000 prescriptions were written for Wegovy. That's one of them. Doctors say patients still need healthy habits like a proper diet, exercise, sleep, stress management to see lasting results. Studies show combining the drugs with lifestyle changes can significantly improve overall health, not just obesity. But experts emphasize that while the medications help, long-term success depends on actually maintaining some of those healthy habits. American Diabetes Association Alert Day, observed every year on the 4th through Tuesday in March. It serves as a one-day wake-up call, really, to raise awareness about the seriousness of diabetes and the importance of knowing your risk. Health experts encourage people to take a quick risk test and learn the warning signs, since millions of Americans have diabetes or pre-diabetes and may not even know about it. The goal is early detection and prevention, helping people make healthier choices before serious complications can develop.
Live pictures right now of I-85 mile marker 29 right near Sam Wilson. When we return, Majestic has your latest on traffic.
All right, check this out. Plans underway to nationalize the National Weather Service. The upgrade will move weather data to the cloud, allowing forecasters to access information from anywhere. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration says new technology, including artificial intelligence, will help improve forecasts and warnings. Officials say the project is expected to take about 2 years to complete. Let's bring in our own resident meteorologist, expert on these. Chris, what are your thoughts?
See, I like it, but then there's also the big drawbacks. Like, for instance, our graphic system, I was having problems earlier because we're on the cloud. So if the internet goes out or there's some sort of problem with that, you're reliant on that. AI has been really helpful, but then you also see its drawbacks. And this is not being political, but ever since DOGE did a bunch of cuts to the National Weather Service, it set us back 5 years on some of our models. So it's one of those things that maybe it's moving forward, but I think one of our main things I want to focus in on is trying to get some of those data centers back and operational. We also have a huge climate office over in Raleigh that has been shut down that isn't processing some of the data. So I personally, as a meteorologist, would love to get some of that back. I love the forward thinking for the National Weather Service. We actually just had multiple members of the National Weather Service right here at WCNC talking about the forward movement, where it's all about simplifying things and kind of making the weather community a better branch to make sure that you're going to be safe. So I definitely think it has its big pluses over the next couple of years, but I also think we need a lot of growth and try to get back some of the things that we've sadly lost over the last year. Just my 2 cents, my weather sense. We are expecting a lot of cloud cover that's drifting on through, but it's the back side of this system that will have some much drier air, even drier than we deal with right now. And eventually we're going to get rid of this cloud cover. So it will be overall mostly cloudy to cloudy through much of this morning, and then we'll start to see a brighter end of the day. But it's also going to be breezy. This is the first time that I've seen so far in 2026 an extreme fire danger because of how low that relative humidity is. By tomorrow, it's just going to be at a very high. So regardless, if you're doing any sort of, say, a bonfire, it's going to be chilly enough for it. If you're grilling out, yeah, just got to be mindful because everything is just ready to burn, especially of how dry it is, because we haven't had a lot of rain so far, and we desperately need it. Speaking of, when is our next big rain chance? We don't really have anything too huge on the horizon. Here it is. One single rain chance on Friday heading into Friday night. And this looks to be mainly a Friday night time frame. I think a couple of days from now we'll have, of course, a much better look the day before. But as of right now, it looks like you have a system that's weakening as it moves its way towards our area. If this arrived during the afternoon, we would be talking about thunderstorms, but now it's looking to be a more stable time of day. Still think that we see the rain, but a lot of it's starting to fizzle out. I'm not discounting that we don't see thunderstorms. I'm just saying that it's a lot less than what I was looking at, say, yesterday. Where our lows go, there is a couple of chilly points. We're all over the place, up and down like a pendulum, back and forth like a pendulum is what I really could say, as we're going to see those swings. We have 40 degrees tomorrow morning, 38 on Sunday, so those ups and downs are really tough to keep track of. So just note that this is the coldest day that we're going to have, or let's call it coolest day, over the next 7, back to the 60s, then the 80s, near 90, 60s, 70s, 80s, pretty much rinse and repeat over the next couple of weeks. All right, let's get one last look at our morning commute.
Still really busy. Want to start with this live camera look this time. This is going to be I-85 near Graham. It is 8:52 right now. If you're heading out the door, we have a handful of ongoing issues, but we do have a couple of new ones. So let's just go over those. It's going to be here at Still Creek Road, southbound lanes right there at Shopton Road West. That's where we do have delays coming in nearly all directions. Just to the east, this is Old Pineville Road, northbound this time at Tyvola Road, and then heading more eastward. This is on Independence, but it's not inbound lanes that'll be impacted by this crash. It's really the outbound lanes on Independence. However, still a little slow moving if you're taking Independence inbound just because it's this time of the day. So back and forth on Independence, it is a slow roll. However, this one here looks much worse as we have delays coming in, especially right here on Windover Road. That's where there's a crash there between Windover Road and Providence. You can see delays in all directions. The accident happened there in the intersection, so they're just working to get it cleared. All right, Larry, over to you.
Hi, this is Larry Sprinkle. It's Tuesday time for our Tuesday Tailwagger, along with our friends over at Animal Care and Control. Last week we had Janie. Janie is still there, still available. Let's bring on today's Tailwagger. Violet, interesting story. She's been there since May 2024. Great dog. She's 7 years old. She's spayed. No adoption fee. She's house trained. She's crate trained. Sleeps through the night. Probably better if she's the only dog. Would be a great first dog. Just a really sweet, playful dog. Her name is Violet. Right there, available today over at Animal Care and Control. They're open Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, both days, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Once again, check her out. Has been there 2 years, and hopefully we find a forever home this week. That's Violet. She's our very special Tuesday Tailwagger.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, but keep it right here on WCNC Plus. Our very own Jane Monroe will have to take over at the top of the hour from our live Impact News studio. She'll have a live look at NASA's public events as they prepare for Artemis 2. You can see her getting set up there. So keep it right here on WCNC Plus.
Well, good morning, everyone. Not really too much has changed. I feel like every time I update you, I said, hey, it's 34 and it feels like the upper 30s. Well, that's exactly it, because we have that cloud cover that's really locking our temperatures at this range. We are going to have a nice little comeback to the upper 50s, but we're holding on the clouds way too long. At times, you're also going to see some breaks in the clouds, but really by the middle of the afternoon, it's a lot sunnier. That's why by 3 p.m., you see that mostly sunny symbol, and by 5 o'clock, you have that complete sunny symbol. Our Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast does have a nice quick upward climb. Tomorrow morning is going to be the coolest morning of the work week. The coldest morning of the week is actually on Sunday, 38 degrees, but check out the climb. Me personally, I'm picking this Thursday as your pick of the week. It's going to feel amazing. 88 degrees. We're almost at 90. That could be the hottest day. Definitely a record day so far this year. All right, let's get right over to Majestic for another look at our morning commute.
This is a look at I-85 out there near Mallard Creek. It is still a little chilly out there, so grab a jacket, but at least those roads are looking nice. People are moving nice and smooth. We do still have a few ongoing issues. This one here is one of our newer accidents. It's right there on Still Creek Road southbound at Shopton Road West. Then just to the east, Old Pineville Road, an accident was just reported.